Alright, I just got this package, and it is replacement parts for this Voltron that I'm rebuilding. Now, the Black Lion's not here. This was my wife's first son, who I helped raise for about 8 years of his life. Then he went and moved to live with his real dad. And someone bought him this set, and it got left here, you know, 25 years ago or so, 20 some odd years ago. And it was set in a window. And if you know anything about these things, plasticizers leak. The sun can kind of speed up the process of plasticizers leaking. So the Black Lion actually fell apart. And so I found a relatively inexpensive, $40 set that had most of the parts, but not all of them. And I thought, well, usually just the Black Lion alone sells for like $100. I was just going to get another Black Lion, but I figured when I saw this, maybe it'd be a better idea to get this used one and attempt to restore this. So let's see what we got here. Hopefully this will restore this figure. Okay, so here we go. Oh, of course, packing peanuts. Oh boy. Hate relationship with packing peanuts. I'd rather use the little blow-up cushiony pillow bags. Those are way better, way easier to deal with. Now I noticed in the picture that the shoulder plates that cover the legs of the Black Lion were missing, but I actually have those. And let's see, yeah, it looks like he's intact. The packing peanut got loose here. Okay, got a plastic bag. Alright, here we go. So, here's the Black Lion, the part I needed. Now this part here was what I was worried about. It didn't show this in the picture, but it looks like it's intact. The little wing parts are pretty good. Now you see it's missing the escape pod, but I actually have the escape pod from the other one right here. There we go. So that's in there. And here, this is missing the pad, and this is missing the pad. Let's go ahead and carefully try to remove this. There we go. Alright, okay. Going to carefully try to remove the Red Lion. Alright. So here we have the... Oh, it looks like the ears are missing too, but I have those from the other one. Hopefully the face is still on there. Let's see. Yes, the face is intact and it looks good. Oh, the red pilot was in there. And I'm actually missing the green pilot, but I was considering repainting one of them. There's a second blue pilot. No red pilot there. And no pilot in the yellow one. So it just came with red and blue. But I have the black one over here from the other Lion. Alright. Now I noticed he was missing his tail. But I have the tail from the other one. Okay. And I don't know about the little ear folding parts, if they just can snap off or if they were broken off, but I'll be bringing down the other one. And it looks like this part came off, but it looks good. Alright, so should be a nice, quick, easy restoration of parts. So if that's down like this, alright, there we go. Now the tail is back on. I'm going to go ahead and just test out the Black Lion functionality here very carefully. Yeah, his feet are moving well. Okay, hopefully these open without error. Yes, okay. Now, plastic, depending on its makeup, can become brittle over time. It can develop all kinds of problems. This is in there pretty tough. So yeah, there we go. It can get brittle, very, very brittle. Happens with gold, like the gold plastic especially, and chrome sometimes chips off. Okay, I'm going to bring down the little crown pieces. So when this toy broke, you can see here's mine. The plastic here got really brittle and it just snapped. I think this is better than the one it came with. I don't know though, we'll see. And here we go. These are, yeah, they come right out. So this is the right side one. I'll try to keep them lined up the way they're meant to be. Left side one. And you can see a lot of breakage. This actually snapped. This whole side snapped. And it really did. It just fell apart. Really, it totally fell apart. Unusable. So I'll swap this out for the better condition one that I have. And we've got the left side earpiece. I think that's correct. The right side earpiece. And they are just snap in. There. Now he's complete. I don't know about the popping out these legs. I definitely don't want to break them. And they're hard to grip onto. Almost like they were designed for tiny fingers. Now this is from the 98, I think it's 97, 98 Playmates Third Dimension, the reboot of Voltron, where they brought out this G1 style, but I don't know, it didn't, I think eventually they changed the whole look of it. Like they made it look like they made it look totally different. Now there's a bend in this tail, and but let's see, it kind of bent right back into place very easily, and it's complete, whereas my tail had been chewed on or damaged. The sticker's coming off though, so what I'll probably do is unscrew this and swap the tails. I'm using parts from each one to get one complete unit. And yeah, I'd like this foot to come out. It's awfully tight in there. I don't know if somebody over tightened this or what's going on here. I definitely don't want to break it, and it could just need to be slightly loosened up. The legs are moving fine. Yeah, that's very hard to move. Okay, I'm going to use something for it. Use this light file and see if I can't pry this out of here. I don't know. Really bad, don't want to break it. Try to be as gentle as I can here. There we go. Okay, that's coming up out of there. Okay, I think I can grab it now. Okay. Yeah, this may have sat on someone's shelf for a long, long time, and or someone might have actually tightened the screws with the screwdriver. I know that happens often. Okay, so there's the complete black lion, undamaged. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now we'll go ahead and I don't know, I like this tail, but it's kind of wants to bend. Now if you see plastic bending like that, you can actually heat it up and it will often return to its original shape. So just because it's remembered, it's kind of built into the plastic to have that original shape. Over time, temperature and whatever can affect it. But I noticed the sticker condition on the one I just bought isn't so great, and of course I knew that from the pictures, what I was looking at. And okay, here we go. Oh, and that's got a lot of plastic going on there, so yeah, it's going to have to be thoroughly disassembled to get the tail out of there. But I definitely want to replace the tail. Okay, but I'll do that in a little bit. So for now, let's see, we've got the yellow lion, and he has the pilot in there. I think a dog ate the green pilot when my stepson still lived here. Now the red one, his colors are really good, but I don't know, the sticker's not as great. The plastic color itself looks pretty good. I don't see enough of a difference to actually, well, I don't know. This one's brighter, the one I just got. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Now what they're doing with newer Voltrons is, still launches, they're making it so that the leg components are actually hidden with panels on some of the newest ones. And that's how it looked in the anime and in the cartoons and stuff, is when he changes, you can't really see all of it. You only see the little round part. With model kits, they imitate that because they're expecting that you're just swapping swapping out parts, you know, so they don't really mind too much. But on the there we go, I'll switch these. But on the toys, because they're, you know, gimmicky and have to be able to be played with, that's too many components to have to deal with. But there's newer ones, and there are 2 or 3 new ones where there's lion-colored plastic, and it flips and covers, and the leg sinks in a little bit, and then all you see is this round part, which is, you know, it's screen accurate to do that. So now we have the good-looking green lion. Got a little bit of dust on here. Now with the black lion, these panels right here are missing. So I need to add the panels, and I think, let's see if I can line these up the way they're meant to be. I think they're like this. wide to thin. I think that would make sense. So, oh. Or maybe it's, yeah, no, that's how it is. So we're going to try to kind of carefully reseat this. It has a little opening, very small, and some leeway there for it to not crack against the plastic. It's not exactly fitting. Yeah. I don't think it's reversed like this. No, it's supposed to be like this. Let's see if that looks better. Okay, that fits there. And now let's see if we can get this guy to fit. There we go. Alright. Now I'm not 100% sure that that lines up exactly as it's supposed to be, but that does complete it. If I can look up some pictures to verify, then I'll change them, but they seem to fit well that way. So now all of the parts of the Black Lion are officially restored. He's got the crown, he's got the ejection, he's got the tail, and he has the panels on the back. We have the Green Lion. I went ahead and swapped the canopy for the brighter plastic Red Lion. Didn't come with the Green Lion. The sticker is coming off on this Yellow Lion, but I like the tail on this one a little more. There are, let's see, 2, 3, 4 more screws that will likely remove this side panel and make it so I can take this tail off to swap it. I'll go ahead and do that later though. And I'll go ahead and put this other, the original panel here, which is got the kind of scrunched up sticker on the old Red Lion. And this one's been played with a lot. Blue Lion sticker's coming off, but the plastic's nice and bright. My Blue Lion has had some play wear. All of this is just, you can clean it. You know, you could clean this and make it look like the other one. So it's not a big deal. But this missile is here. So and I don't remember how to launch the missile. I think it had something to do with the. There's a way to get this missile to launch out, and then I need to put it in the other launcher. So, here's like a button that you press somewhere on it. I know it pops up when the wheels, because if you move this part up and down, the wheels will actually turn on these. Now if you watch, I'm winding it up, and watch the missile launcher. There it was. See? So it moves and then it pops this up. And if you move this, hear it? You can actually see the wheels moving. So the wheels are somehow directly connected to the top of this. Now I have this missing missile for the Blue Lion, which can be added for completion. Now the chrome plating came off of the Jouken, the blazing sword. In Golion it's called the King's Sword, which in Japanese is Jouken. Ken is sword, I guess Jou is king or something like that. And so I painted this with like a silvery chrome paint as the chrome was chipping off of it. It's not as reflective. And the same thing happened with the shield. I'm not sure he uses the shield at all in either cartoon. Golion is a much larger, more in-depth cartoon with blood, violence, death, more controversial stories. And so they actually chopped up that story to bring you the Voltron that we have in the United States. So if you saw Voltron in the US, they actually took the Japanese cartoon Golion and made Voltron from that. Okay, now the vehicle's Voltron was a cartoon called Die Rugger. And the two cartoons are unrelated, but because the art style, the characters, the aliens, the robots, the whole process of, you know, building the robot is assembling, it's forming a magical laser energy sword, it's chopping up some giant robotic or organic monstrosity from the bad guys. The story methods and modes are so similar that they went ahead and made a second Voltron using the Die Rugger cartoon, although they are, in truth, the two cartoons are in no way related to each other. What they did, though, is they took scenes from Die Rugger where one of the characters received mail, and they made it so he was Pidge's brother. Like, Pidge was the Green Lion pilot from the US Voltron cartoon. Their names are all different. Like Princess Allura in Golion, her name is Princess Fala. And they call each other nicknames all the time. So Hunk is actually called Hothead. And they have all kinds of names. Now the one named Sven, who was killed or lost or something to where Allura had to take over the Blue Lion, he was called Quiet. And he was actually murdered in Golion by the witch. And there are a lot of differences between the two cartoons. They're very, very different experiences altogether. But I mean, as much as Voltron had a huge role in my childhood, it was one of my favorite things ever. I loved Tranzor Z and Voltron. I ended up really liking the vehicle Voltron ultimately better. But I was, you know, enamored with Allura. She was like the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I love the cartoon. Golion and Die Rugger are far more complex, and they're much better, more well written, because, you know, they were the intended effect as they were made. So what we were doing was taking something already created and piecing together something more kid friendly and with a little more brevity. And there are episodes of Golion with just rivers of blood and children and people being burned to death and killed and heads cut off and getting cut down. It's a really bloody, gory mess of a cartoon. It's extremely well written, and you will be very invested in it. It's definitely more applicable to all ages. It was not just meant for kids, although they did have all the toys and model kits and stuff. Golion is a much harsher, arguably more realistic experience. And the same goes for Die Rugger. Die Rugger is a incredibly good anime. I think Die Rugger is better, and I also think that the vehicle Voltron is pretty much better in all. So let's see here. We've got everybody sat out. It's working now. Very carefully open these, and we'll try to see. Oh, I think I already messed up here. The foot actually goes up into the leg cavity, possibly. There we go. Okay. Now, this is not a well-articulated toy. Even some of the 80s Voltron toys were better articulated. Some of them had moving elbows and more working parts. Now, they never really got into the legs, though, until much, much later. You didn't get a Voltron toy with bending knees until they started, you know, making the reimagined versions and the reworked versions for adult collectors and stuff like that. So, you know, you didn't have like moving legs until much, much later. It's like this head. There we go. Okay. All right. Now we have the core Voltron here. body ready to attach. So if I remember this, red is on the right, and so red and blue are on the right side. Let's see if I can carefully get that in there. Okay, I definitely don't want to force it, because this guy will not tolerate it. Okay. Now, the iconic creation mode from the Western cartoon, that was not how it was in Japan. Like where he says, form Voltron, he says form feet and legs, form arms and torso, and all form the head and stuff. That's not at all how the Japanese one was. He never like details every component, you know, being all jammed together and stuff. But instead, they would sing a song about whichever lion was the hero of that particular moment in the series. So if Red Lion had just freed some people or something, then they'd sing a song about the Red Lion while Golion was forming. And they would have all kinds of different songs. They'd sing about Black Lion, all the different colors of lions. So based on what was actually happening in the episode, they'd sing like a theme commemorative song about whatever particular lion was the hero at that moment. And it was cheesy. Super, super cheesy. Very silly. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn this light off briefly. And we'll see here how much better that helps with the color. Alright, I have restored a 90s Voltron toy. So let's give him his blazing sword, known as Joken in Japan. His shield, which I don't remember him ever using in any of the cartoons. Okay. And that was $40. The parts that I needed were $40 to restore this. And like I said, I was considering just getting a brand new Black Lion, and that would have been $100. So for less than half, I got enough parts to completely restore this Voltron, and he's in great shape. And he's actually going to go up here on this shelf right here next to this legendary Voltron that my son gave me for my 48th birthday. And down there are Die Rugger, the remake of the Japanese one, and then the modern Action Toys variant. And what I'm going to do is get a really big Die Rugger to stand next to that guy, and then right there in the gap in front of him is going to be this guy that I just fixed up. So, let's form Voltron. Now, I was nuts about this cartoon. If you were a kid in the 80s, you were probably nuts about Voltron. Heck, a lot of adults were nuts about Voltron. And when I was a kid, I was poor. I never got Voltron, but I got like an eraser set that was Voltron. So the lions didn't like form with their legs and their heads didn't move. It was like colored rubbery eraser segments that you could pop together, and it made a little generic Voltron toy. Eventually, I did get a Transor Z toy from like a neighbor at the apartment complex I lived at, and I don't think I had that for very long. And then I also got a vehicle Voltron sometime in there, but you know, all that stuff. When I was a little kid, before my mother's third marriage, I think I had 10 toys or something. I slept in a, what was it called? It was a dirt closet where you would put like kitchen stuff, but they cleaned it out. They put a bunk bed in it. I mean, I had dirt on the ground getting up into my bunk bed, and there was like dirt and stuff in the ceiling. And I remember my mom actually had a room off to the side. We lived way out in the country. First kid on the bus, last kid off. I was on the bus for over an hour every day. And we had a super long driveway, and somehow she could rent half of this like decrepit, dilapidated old farmhouse, and we lived on the bottom floor, and she had a room that she dedicated to nothing but owl trinkets, like owl tchotchkes, right? And at the time I was a kid, I didn't really think about it, but now I'm grown up, she could have given me and my brother the stinking owl tchotchke room, and we wouldn't have to sleep in a closet. But I had like 10 toys to my name. And we weren't supposed to go up into the attic, but I would go up there anyway, and I would take my little 10 toys that I had, and I would play with my toys for hours and hours on end. And I had the most overactive imagination. I had such a powerful imagination. Now, I remembered when I was a kid actually dreaming of being a Voltron pilot and saving Princess Allura. I remember it. It was a very powerful thing for me. And when I married my wife, she actually told me, no joke, she said, now I don't know if this was a lie or what, but she said that when she was a kid, she dreamed that she was being saved by a Voltron pilot. So she watched Voltron. She I don't think she was as nuts about it as I was, but she actually did say that. She said that when she was a kid, she dreamed of being saved by a Voltron pilot. And I actually dreamed and remember dreaming that I was a Voltron pilot and I was saving Princess Allura several times. But yeah, you know, today they call it waifus, right? They say your anime girl that's your favorite one is your waifu. And before the word waifu ever existed in the Western culture, which is just wife in Japanese, before that idea was ever promulgated by the otaku subcultures of, you know, people living in their grandma's basement worshiping Kaon and stuff, before that was ever established, my waifus were Princess Allura, Tila, and who was the other one? Ginger. Ginger, the girl from the second Voltron, which her name in the Japanese one is Patty. And she was super beautiful, freckle-faced, red-haired, beautiful girl. They love to do that. They love to make just the most attractive girls that they can for those cartoons. So we've got more of these little figures. The black one will go into the black lion, or that's the blue one, there's the black one, and then we have another red one, and whichever one is the easiest one to paint green, I'm going to paint green, because that's the one I'm actually missing. And wow, that's amazing. I actually got the red one to stand up. I couldn't get these things to stand up for nothing. But yeah, there he is. Little tiny Voltron pilot figures. And what they ended up doing was redesigning Voltron for these later cartoons, and in my opinion, they ruined him. So any Voltron that doesn't look like this isn't the Five Lions Voltron. I didn't like any of the remade Voltrons. I thought they all looked terrible. None of them captured the essence of Voltron. Now the Playmates, or whoever actually made this, the remake series, they made a second version of this toy. And I might be wrong, but I think that the arms, the lion arms, are actually interchangeable. And it has longer arm lions with working elbow joints. So maybe in the future, I'll do some more research and I'll see if that's actually real, if you can interchange them. And I might go ahead and try to get the green and red lions with the moving elbow joints, because that would really make it a lot better, overall better toy. Because, you know, he moves his arms and knees and stuff. He moves everything. But the legendary one I've got up there that my son gave me has everything. He has 60 phrases from the cartoon. Now, I didn't like that his neck looked like almost like a cylindrical can kind of look. And I remembered that certain art versions of Voltron had a black neck. Like this one, if you look under his chin, it's actually black, where it looks like it's joined into his body. So that can part of the neck of my legendary Voltron, I took a Sharpie and I painted it black. And it made it perfect. It made it look absolutely perfect, just the way, right there with that simple change. Now this blue lion down here, was missing some of his color, or the yellow one, and I went ahead and took that same Sharpie and I went ahead and filled in the missing color on his nose. And so for the first time in many years, this Voltron is now restored and looking beautiful. He's going to go up on the shelf and stay out of the sunlight so that he doesn't crack or lose the plasticizing. And just for a lesson for everybody out there, if you leave your toys in the sun, this will happen. This is the cracked plastic, and this is so brittle I could probably just peel it apart by hand. There were a lot of transformers where this happened. Kids would set them in their window, or they'd get too much plasticizers leaking from it and just become brittle and fall apart. It's notorious with gold colored plastic that it leaks plasticizers and becomes so fragile that it just falls apart in your hands. I have a couple of toys from back then that would be extremely valuable if they didn't fall apart because of that plasticizer issue. But it is a real issue. Alright, so thanks for hanging out with me for a minute here, and if you watch this video, thanks. Okay, so this is completely restored. I replaced the tail. Also, the wheels on the back here were degraded, so I went ahead and removed this little panel with the wheels and the pullback motor from the other one that came today and installed it. So it has nice clean new wheels going on. As you saw, I took this part off and swapped it. This is swapped. It's got the ejection port. Alright, so it is it's doing great. I noticed this seemed, I don't know, kind of loose a little. I think it's just how it's always been, but he is looking very good now. So we've got a list of all the stuff. I replaced the missile, I replaced the canopy. This is the red one that I just got today, but the canopy from my other one because the sticker was better. I replaced the ear crown parts, the ejection pod, the tail, the shoulder top panels here and here are replaced, and the whole black line is the newer one. Okay, the restored sword and shield, and so the one thing left to do is either get or create a green pilot, and this will be 100%. It'll be totally complete. And I think he's looking really good. He's got quite a presence there. He's got Golion. Let's see if we can get a look at his face here. There we go. It's not focusing. There we go. This was from 98, I think, 97, 98, as I said earlier. All right. So cool. He's complete now after like 20 years of the black line being broken and some missing parts and stuff.